You already know perfectionism is slowing you down, but part of you is afraid the quality of your videos will get worse without it. So when someone tells you to just post it, you push back because it feels like they're asking you to lower your standards. But high standards and perfectionism are not the same thing. One makes your video better, the other keeps you rewriting, re-recording, and fixing one more thing, even when your video is already strong enough to publish. Today, I'll show you what your perfectionism is actually protecting you from, and how to finish videos faster without lowering your standards. So let's start with the difference between high standards and perfectionism, because until you can tell them apart, everything I say next is just gonna sound like I'm asking you to care less about your work. And that's not what I'm saying at all. You know the behaviors. You rewrite the opening 5 or 6 times and none of the versions feel right. You record the same sentence over and over, way beyond the point of making a meaningful difference. And when the video finally goes live, you watch it back and the only thing you can see is what you would fix. High standards are specific. They're connected to what the video is supposed to accomplish, and they focus your attention on the things that actually affect the viewer experience. Most importantly, there's a point when you can honestly say, okay, this is strong enough to publish. Perfectionism works differently. It treats your discomfort as proof that the work isn't good enough yet. It tries to remove every possible weakness instead of strengthening what matters. And the worst part is the finish line keeps moving every time you get close to it. Now, the problem here is that perfectionism can make individual details more polished while making the video worse overall. You keep rewriting until the opening loses that sharpness that made it work. You re-record until the delivery sounds controlled instead of natural. You add more explanations so no one can misunderstand you, and the video becomes slower and less engaging. Because every detail feels equally important, you lose the ability to tell which changes actually improve the viewer's experience and which ones are only costing you time, energy, and momentum. And that's how perfectionism can make the video worse, while every individual change still feels completely justified. To understand why you keep making those changes, you have to look at what the video has quietly come to represent for you. It usually starts with a simple thought. This video isn't good enough yet. But if you follow that thought a little further, there are usually a few more beliefs underneath it. If it isn't good enough, someone might criticize it. It might underperform. Or someone might watch it and decide you don't really know what you're talking about. And somewhere in there, something shifts. The quality of the video becomes connected to the quality of you. The fear won't sound exactly the same for everyone, but underneath a lot of perfectionism is a fear that if something is wrong with the work, people will decide something is wrong with me. The thought becomes, maybe I'm not as capable as I thought. Maybe people will finally see that I'm not good enough. Maybe my best isn't enough. Now, once that happens, the video stops being something you're creating. It becomes evidence of your competence, your credibility, your worth. And that's exactly why it never feels ready. Because think about what you're asking that video to do. If it has to prove you're talented or credible or worth taking seriously, there's no point where that proof is complete. You can always strengthen another sentence. You can always record another take. You can always change a thumbnail one more time. You might believe you're doing all of this in the pursuit of high quality, but often the real finish line sounds more like, I'll publish when I feel certain that nothing bad will happen. And guess what? That moment almost never comes. Because no amount of perfecting can guarantee people will like it, that you'll get high views, or that you'll be protected from criticism. The standard keeps moving because perfectionism is trying to produce a kind of certainty that creative work has never been able to give anyone. And there's a reason the pattern keeps repeating even when you can see it clearly. Watch what happens as you get close to publishing. The discomfort rises, so you go back in. You re-edit, you re-record, you delay posting for a day, you ask AI to review your script one more time, and suddenly you have 10 new things to reconsider. And somehow going back into the work feels safer than releasing it. But the discomfort drops. Your brain notices that. Every time another round of editing gives you relief, your brain becomes a little more convinced that extra editing is necessary. So the extra work isn't always about improving the video. Some of it is managing how it feels to release the video. And from the inside, those two drivers can feel exactly the same. Notice that distinction. Relief from discomfort is not the same thing as real meaningful improvement. Some changes genuinely make the video clearer and more engaging for the person watching. Others mostly make you feel safer about publishing. Think about your last video. What was the final change you made? Was it making the video better or making you feel better? That distinction is also important. In a moment, I'm going to show you how to turn that distinction into a clear publishing standard. But first, there's one reason this matters beyond the video you're trying to finish right now. It affects how quickly you become a better creator. There's a story from the book Art and Fear that illustrates this well. A photography professor split his class into two groups. The first group was graded purely on quantity. The more photos they turned in, the higher their grade. The second group was graded on quality. They only had to turn in one photo all semester, but their entire grade was based on that one photo. By the end of the semester, the strongest photos came from the quantity group. While the quantity group was out taking photos, making mistakes, and learning from each attempt, their skill was improving. The quality group, on the other hand, was spending most of that time thinking about the perfect shot instead of getting the real lived experience that would have made them better. The point here isn't to rush videos out or to choose quantity over quality. It's that skill develops across repetitions. You learn more from creating, publishing, and improving many videos than from obsessing over the details and trying to perfect one. And this is where the larger cost starts to show up. Perfectionism may polish the video in front of you, but it weakens the process that would make your next 10 videos better. It costs you publishing momentum. It costs you real feedback from real viewers, the feedback that shows you how people actually respond once the video is out in the world. And it slows the development of your own judgment because you get fewer repetitions to try something, see the result, and adjust. Fewer videos means fewer chances to test an idea and experiment. So perfectionism might improve the details of one video while quietly weakening the whole system that helps you grow. This is where fear usually pushes back. If you stop being a perfectionist, won't the quality of your videos drop? That concern makes total sense. The mistake is the black and white either-or thinking, believing your only two options are perfectionism or mediocrity. You don't need to care less. You need a better way to decide what deserves your care. And that starts with one shift. A video doesn't need to prove you're a great creator. It's one repetition in the process of becoming one. Once the video is no longer responsible for proving your worth, you can finally give it a finish line that doesn't move every time you feel uncertain. So how do you actually know when to stop? Well, you can't rely on the video feeling finished because perfectionism will keep translating discomfort into evidence that more work is needed. What you need instead is a defined good enough to publish standard. This is a decision you make before your nerves start renegotiating the finish line. There are 4 steps. Name it, cap it, test it, ship it. Step 1 is name it. Decide what must be true for this video to be strong enough to publish. These are your non-negotiables. Your standards will depend on the kind of content you create, but they need to be specific. For an educational creator, some examples might include the title and thumbnail create curiosity and sets an accurate expectation of the promise of the video. The hook and intro confirm that promise and give the viewer a reason to keep watching. The video delivers one clear, useful idea in a way that's easy to follow. And the audio and video are free from any major mistakes or quality issues that would distract from the message. You're not naming everything that could make the video better. You're just naming what must be true before the video is ready to publish. Step 2 is cap it. Decide in advance a general rule about how many script revisions, takes, and editing rounds the video gets. Also decide which imperfections do not justify another round. A wording preference that doesn't affect clarity, a take that sounds human instead of flawless, or an edit that only you are likely to notice. For example, when I record, I give myself 1 practice read-through and then 2 to 3 recorded takes for each section. That doesn't mean the final take has to be perfect. I'm just deciding ahead of time what a reasonable amount of effort looks like for me so that I'm putting some boundaries on it. Step 3 is test it. Before you make one more change, pause and ask yourself whether it will meaningfully improve the experience for the person watching. Sometimes it will, and sometimes it won't. This isn't about never making an optional improvement. It's about deciding consciously instead of automatically. So here's a question you ask yourself to test it. Will this change meaningfully improve my viewer's experience? If the answer is yes, make the change. If the answer is no, or if you can't explain the benefit clearly, you've probably reached the point where the change is serving your discomfort more than the viewer. Step 4, ship it. You publish when your standard is met, not when the discomfort disappears. You might still feel uncertain. You might still want to change one more thing. The goal here isn't to reach a point where you feel completely certain. The video is ready because it meets the standard you chose on purpose, even if a part of you still feels unsure. One more thing makes all of this much easier. Decide on the standard while you're calm and keep it somewhere where you can see it while you work. If you wait until you're already in a perfectionism spiral, you're negotiating with anxiety, and anxiety will keep moving the line. Put the standard near your computer, at your desk, or wherever you record, so you can use it as a visible reminder to interrupt the pattern the moment you feel pulled into one more unnecessary round. That's how you finish faster without lowering your standards. The video is done when it meets the standard, not when the discomfort disappears. So what would your good enough to publish standard need to include for you to trust that the video is ready, even if part of you still wants to keep fixing it? Tell me in the comments. And if this is the kind of conversation you need more of, subscribe. It's a brand new channel, and I'm making videos for creators like you who want to understand the mindset side of growing on YouTube. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this, it's that the opposite of perfectionism is not low standards. It's having standards you control instead of standards that control you. Your work doesn't have to be flawless. It needs to be clear, valuable, and strong enough to share without carrying the burden of proving your worth. Perfectionism is one way fear can show up in your work, even when it feels like you're just trying to make your video better. But it isn't the only one. In this next video, I break down the other fears that quietly shape what you create, how you publish, and what happens internally when a video doesn't perform the way you hoped. Watch that one next.